Steve here for Who Took My Dice, and welcome to another Ark of Omens update video. So a whole bunch of cool stuff got dropped just recently about all the Ark of Omen stuff that's coming out. What I want to dive in first is to the boarding action game. So as I talked about, it's going to be, looks like it's just going to be mainly infantry. We learned that there's going to be no vehicles, nothing that can fly or jump. No bikes, no dreadnoughts, nothing huge. It's going to be all elite units and infantry fighting down these cramped corridors. I've just released a few more things about actually fighting these corridors. One of the cool things is that walls are pretty much impenetrable. You can be 1 inch away from an enemy. As long as there's a wall between you, you have to measure your distance around any openings. So there's a closed portal in the wall, any bulkheads in the way, you have to measure around that through the open door. So if you're trying to charge or trying to make around, you can't just go through anymore. You have to go completely around, which is kind of cool. It means that model positioning and trying to time your charges. Obviously, this is going to affect what you can shoot, what you can't shoot, stuff like that. It's going to be very it's going to be tactically challenging, which is I know what the game designers, by reading the articles, really wanted. Apparently also the changes are going to be very minimal. They don't want us to have to learn a brand new game just to play this. The other cool thing is they've also added in that you cannot shoot through any unit to hit another unit. An example they give is a Model A, which is a Space Marine Assault Intercessor, and there's 2 units, Model B and C and D and E, which are Necron Warriors, and they're 2 separate units, and he cannot fire against the farthest 2 because there's 2 others in the way. So you can't be firing, and it's stressed very clearly that you can't actually shoot through your own units. So again, model placement is going to be very clear, and it states things like aggressors or Hive Guard, for instance, will become like living barricades, basically stopping squishier units or very important characters. Like if you have a really important unit you need to survive, you may want to put your other units in the way to help it survive, which is very, very cool. I like the fact that you know, again, you can't really shoot through your own guys to hit the enemy. You don't want to block a really powerful shooting unit or from wiping out an enemy unit by misplacing your troops. The other cool thing is they show, again, line of sight when shooting. Again, they had the Assault Intercessor and 3 targets. 1 completely behind a wall, which is, of course, completely, you can't see. 1 completely open, which you can shoot perfectly fine. And 1 that is slightly covered by the end of a bulkhead, therefore getting a cover save. So again, model placement is very, very, very important if you want your units not to get shot to pieces. That's some cool little things. They actually showed a one of the new stratagems for there's one for the orcs. I can't remember what it is. If you guys know, please let me know. I can't remember. I'll probably look it up after this. But the one for the guard was basically, if you use 1 CP, you can shoot through a unit in front of you. Basically, that unit drops to the ground. The unit behind it can fire away. So maybe you have a heavy weapon unit or something with a lot of firepower. Melt-a-guns, flamers, plasma guns, ever, and you want to shoot through another unit, you can do that. Of course, it's going to cost you a command point to do so. So very cool stuff. They're really trying their best to show that these are tight corridors, there's tight spaces, and you're going to have to be very careful about how you move your troops. They talk about bottlenecks, which is a great way. Bottlenecking, basically squishing your opponent down corridors or down tight areas, so you can't bring the full force of his army to bear on you, which is very, very important. It's really cool. Now they do in this article on their the community webpage stress multiple times how tight and claustrophobic it's going to be. But the last picture they show is basically a very wide open area with Karn the Betrayer, followed by all his new Khorne Berserker buddies charging a bunch of Grey Knights in a rather open area. Yes, you can see a lot of little hallways off to the side, but the area they're in is pretty open, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, so again, with this new patrol, I think it's going to be really, really cool. It is really restrictive, which is going to get us to the next thing. So the next big thing they released is the chapter-approved Ark of Omen Grand Tournament. There's going to be a book. Now, the thing that they've shown off is the Ark of Omen detachment. And this is probably one of the most open detachments I've seen in a long time. Very non-restrictive. And it harkens back to the days of the good old Force organization, Sharon. If you don't know what that is, because you just started in 8th or 9th, basically beforehand, 3rd to 7th edition, you had to have 1 HQ and 2 troop choices. That was sort of the bare minimum of a force you could have, right? There were some small things here, but for the most part, that was basically it. This mirrors that in the fact that it is, you have prerequisites. Also, as I said, it was the other one's very restricted. This one, wide open. You can make absolutely massive armies, and we'll get to that in a minute. But basically, you have to have 1 HQ choice. Of course, this changes. There are options there and rules for things like Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights and all that. And you have to have 3 of one of the main choices, right? So troops, elite, fast attack, obviously Porter, Lord, or War, right? Any one of those 3. You have to have 3 from one of those, and they all have to be from the same thing. Once that's done, then it opens up other stuff. 0 to 9 troop choices, 3 to 9 elite, fast attack, heavy support, Lords of War. There's other options in there for fortifications, flyers, having more elite characters, and of course, there's stuff for, you know, your troop transports, your dedicated transports. You can have one for basically any infantry unit. Well, this is really cool because you can make very small armies. You can make a very elite army that's very, very small if you want to, with lots of Lords of War. You can build a massive army, filling up all those troop choices. Imagine taking a massive orc army that uses, picks 3 Lords of War as the main prerequisite, along with whatever HQ, and then picks 3 more Lords of War and 9 troop choices. You're looking at a massive wog with lots of stompas behind it, or what have you. It's huge. It's massive, and I like it because if you really start using this to its full effect, you can make massive, massive armies, like Apocalypse-size armies. And I'm not talking this newer version, I'm talking old school Apocalypse. They're just massive, massive armies. Games that could take a very long time. And I kind of like this because with Arks of Omen, this basically Abaddon trying to take over the Imperium Nihilus and maybe start his final attack, trying to break through to Terra. These are going to be epic battles. These are the type of battles we want to see. These huge, massive battles, right? I also like it because it seems to be the opposite side of the coin with the boarding action. Boarding action is very restrictive. It's very small. It's these desperate pitched battles between these small elite, or maybe not so elite units, fighting through these dark corridors of these massive space vessels. And then, of course, we have this one where it's just massive armies fighting over the planets that these arcs are going to or trying to steal from. However, whatever Abaddon's plan is. Now, we're going to go through that because I just want to show you guys what it's like. I'm going to kind of show you what I've done with my Ultramarines, and we'll see how it goes from there. Start my Arks of Omen detachment by using 3 elites. So 2 dreadnoughts, my Tyrannic War veterans, love my captain, and of course a Razorback to transport them. It's very compact, very simple, again, and it fulfills the detachment perfectly. Of course, we want to expand from there. Again, this is cool. I love my Tyrannic War veterans. They're cheap for what they can do. A couple dreadnoughts to back them up, and it fits the theme of what I like with my Ultramarines, right? But we want to go beyond that. So then we'll dive into the troop choices, which brings us to this. So 3 tactical squads, all smaller ones, combat style ones, great for some up close fire support, and of course, to round it all off, my assault intercessors, because you need to get in there and start smashing faces with giant chainswords. Okay, and that fills up some of the troop choices. Next up, we'll add some elites, and that's what I like about this, because you have all these options. It doesn't feel like you're having to choose what you're going to take. So here, I threw in some company veterans and a couple units of scouts. That uses up my 3 elite choices. Now, normally the company veterans would actually not take up an elite choice because of their special rule being bodyguards to a captain. You have a captain, these guys don't take up a troop or a elite choice. we're going to ignore that for now because of some of the other cool options that come with this. But there you go, some nice elites, some more ranged sniper rifle power, some more up close, and a nice bodyguard for my captain. It's a little mix of shooting and close combat. And now we'll dive into fast attack and heavy support. So we'll have the assault bike with the heavy bolter, and the Devastator squad with heavy bolters. That Devastator squad has saved my butt so many times. I love it. Again, just adding some more firepower, some mobility, some back end range there, dice up some infantry, and that's again adding in to the fast attack and heavy support. I brought this guy out because this is an elite character. Again, with Space Marine rules, if you are a Space Marine player, you know that because I have a captain, these guys don't take up an elite slot, and because of these guys, my company agent wouldn't take up an elite slot. However, for this particular example, they've added a 0 to 3 slots for elite characters. That way, if you need something like an agent or an apothecary or what have you, you can take a whole bunch of elite stuff and still have room for these elite characters, which I think is really cool. So now I have almost pretty much a complete command squad for my captain to protect him, and it's actually, I love this. This is great. It's great forethought on their part, and it allows you to play a lot of stuff, and you're not having to try and fight over what's going to fit and what's not. And take the units you want to take. One of the other ones is your HQ choices. So I have 0 to 3 HQ choices, and Space Marines are they got so many HQ choices. It's awesome. So I thought, why not? Let's throw 3 in. Of course, we'll take Cassius to go with the Tyrannic War Veteran 3 theme. He can charge in with them or help out the tactical squads, the assault intercessor squads, and a happy little Italian there can go help his long range scouts with the sniper rifles. And of course, I have my scratch built Primaris Lieutenant, and I have him equipped normally with the long range bolter rifle there, and he can back up the Devastator squads or any other long range stuff, allowing them to get bonuses from his buffs. And here is the entire army built using the Arks of Omen's detachment. Again, 0 command points, so I can have those free command points ready to go for warlord traits or relics or whatever else I want to use. And of course, I'm not having to use multiple detachments, so I'm not losing command points on having all these extra detachments. And it's a nice big detachment. I really like the way this looks. It's a lot of Marines. Would it be the most competitive list? I don't know. I'd have to test it to find out, but it looks really cool, and I'd be very proud to put this on a tabletop to fight somebody. And there you go. So there you go, guys. There's the little update on Arks of Omen and the new detachment as presented by me and my Ultramarines. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'd love to see what you guys build with it and what you think of this detachment. Is this something that's really cool? Do you like the freedom of it? Being able to put everything you want into one detachment instead of having to build multiple ones, being worried about running out of slots, having to choose units fighting each other for importance, points-wise or power level-wise. I mean, I think it's great. It's really open. It's really cool. And I think it's going to make this tournament series, even playing friendly games, a lot more open and huge. You can build massive armies with this, which I really love. I can't wait to see some just massive armies out there fighting to either defend the Imperium or tear down the Imperium, depending which side you like, or maybe you're a Necron player and you just want to see everything burn. Who knows? Well, I want to sign off with this by saying a Happy New Year to everyone. I hope 2023 is better for all of us. I'm hoping that everyone has a happy and healthy new year. And if you haven't, please subscribe, hit the like button. Please leave a comment or a response video. Show me what you're going to build or what you think of it. And as always, guys, keep rolling those dice, and I'll see you later. Bye. Happy New Year.